Welcome to the Ice Guys NHL Stanley Cup Finals betting show. We're down to just 2 shows left on the season. I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. Glad you're with us once again this Monday. I thought I was going to be flying solo today because my co-host Andrew McInnes not able to make it for the show today. He'll be back next week, but we've got a co-host, and he's a good friend of mine. He's from Las Vegas. I've met him before, been able to talk with him many times over the years. He's a great guy, and he knows his hockey every bit as much, without a doubt. Dana Lane joining me today as co-host for the Ice Guys. Dana, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. It has been, I can't believe as long as we've known each other, we have not done anything together. But today is the day. Let's make it count. And I'm fired up about Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final.
I am too, because I've been staunchly in the Nashville Predator corner here throughout this series from the beginning. Now we're heading into Game 4. We've got Pittsburgh up 2-1 in this series. We've got Nashville right now, last look, about a -145 home favorite here in this game, -140 to -145. We actually have seen a slight trickle of Pittsburgh money come in the last couple of hours. Total sitting at 5.5, -130, -135. Shaded toward the under in game number 4 tonight of this Stanley Cup Finals. Pittsburgh's got the 2-1 series lead. But it could be 2-1 Nashville, or dare I say it, even 3-0 Nashville if some better goaltending arises for the Nashville Predators from Pekka Rinne in the first 2 games of that series against Pittsburgh. This doesn't look to me like a Nashville team that is scared of Pittsburgh whatsoever. The Nashville Predators dug down with that home run effort in Game 3 at Bridgestone Arena on Saturday night, a 5-1 victory. Really impressed, Dana, by the mental toughness of Nashville, because you think about it, 2 tough losses in Game 1 and Game 2. Game 1, of course, 3 goals for Pittsburgh after an overturned goal that PK Subban scored that was called offside. Pittsburgh challenged that. Pittsburgh 3-0 got that lead. Nashville responded in a positive light in that game to tie it up 3-3, and then Pittsburgh gets their first shot after 37 minutes without one, and it ends up in the back of the net from Jake Guentzel, who's been absolutely on fire this series for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They battled back from adversity there. Game 2, rather, things just fell apart for Nashville in the third period. Played a good first 2 periods. Pittsburgh onslaught came, and that was Game 2. And then Game 3, that early goal by Jake Guentzel silenced the crowd. Does it rattle Nashville a bit? They're thinking, God, we're down 2-0 in this series when we haven't played all that poorly. We're down 1-0 in Game 3 in the first couple minutes. What's going on here? But again, they didn't panic. They didn't get flustered. They kept playing their game. They kept coming at Pittsburgh. They had a good final 5 minutes of that first period in Game 3, Dana, when they were down 1-0. They started to turn things around a little bit in terms of territorial play, puck possession, shots on goal. And they finally started to bury some pucks in the second period. It carried over. And Matt Murray, who's been fantastic since returning from injury, since taking over from Marc-Andre Fleury in the Ottawa series, Dana, has played very well to this point. As Nashville found something, though, because you look at some of the goals scored against Matt Murray in Game 3, glove side and shooting high. He is too good a goalie in terms of side-to-side, post-to-post movement. He is quick down low. He gets to the angle right away. He's very good reading the puck play down low along the ice if you shoot along the ice. Nashville starting to elevate some pucks. You look at some of the goals that were scored, the Matthias Ekholm power play goal, the Roman Josi power play goal, the Craig Smith breakaway goal, all shooting high and glove side toward Matt Murray with some success. And they were able to finally beat Matt Murray, make him look a little bit human in Game 3. Real impressed. I said coming into this series, Dana, Pittsburgh would have the edge up front with their 4 lines of depth that they have, even with the Nick Bonino injury, which is big. That are going to miss him for sure. Still a great depth up front for this Pittsburgh Penguins team, but I'm convinced Nashville's got a better blue line than the Pittsburgh Penguins, with PK Subban, Roman Josi, Matthias Ekholm, and Ryan Ellis leading the way. These Pittsburgh defensemen that I have questions about and concerns about, Dana, are these 3, and I talked about them last week on the show. Brian Dumoulin, Ian Cole, and Ron Hainsey. These are the guys that Nashville has made hay against in terms of a forecheck. They've knocked them off pucks. They've been physical against them. They've forced them into blunders, turnovers, bad plays with the puck. I mean, Brian Dumoulin has been a turnover machine at times. Ian Cole's been knocked off the puck at times. Ron Hainsey lacks the foot speed as he's gotten older. He's had a very good NHL career as a defenseman. Don't get me wrong. Been a good one, Ron Hainsey, but foot speed, a little bit of a concern with him. You can sort of get at him in terms of taking the puck right to him, force him to turn and go in after it. So there's some flaws here with this Pittsburgh back end once you get beyond Trevor Daley, Oli Mata, and some of the top defensemen on this Pittsburgh team. Nashville was able to have success. This is a game that they got to have, Dana, every bit as much as they needed to win Game 3. I don't see a scenario where they go down 3-1 and they're able to win 3 straight games and win this series against a team with the pedigree and the experience of a Pittsburgh Penguins. So this game means a whole lot tonight. Dana, what do you think of Game 4?
Well, I can tell you this, Ian. I mean, I agree with almost everything you said, and I can tell you this. The one thing that the Penguins have not done is got greasy goals in front. Nashville has done a fantastic job of not allowing them to get high percentage goals or high percentage opportunities. And, you know, honestly, if you're going to allow or not allow Sidney Crosby and you're not going to allow Evgeny Malkin to get any shots off in a game, I mean, you really are finally cutting the head off of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, we've talked about it on various platforms I've been on. It's like, okay, now that Chris Letang's out of the lineup, are they going to be able to move the puck effectively? And I just think that they've changed their game a little bit. We've seen forwards go back to almost help out the defensemen to get it out of their zone a lot more than the Penguins are used to doing. And I think that that's finally showing up against a Nashville team that kind of looks like the Penguins did last year against San Jose. I think it's very important for Pittsburgh to get on the board first tonight, as it was in Game 3, but obviously that didn't work out. But I think if the last thing you want to do, Ian, at Bridgestone Arena is give the Nashville Predators any kind of momentum or any kind of hope. If Pittsburgh goes up, and I think a 2-goal lead is really where Pittsburgh is going to be at their comfort level. If they get a 2-goal lead, Ian, I think they're saying, okay, fine, we're up 2-1 in the series. Now we have a 2-goal lead. But I think it is really important. I mean, it's imperative because if you don't allow Crosby and Malkin to even be a factor in this game, Pittsburgh is done not only in Game 4, but they're done in the series. And also on top of that, okay, I know Pekka Rinne played extremely well in Game 3, and people are back on his bandwagon again. And I guess Peter Laviolette doesn't have to get angry about getting asked about whether or not he's going to play. But the fact of the matter is I still remember Game 1-2. And I think what bettors do too much is overreact to what they just saw. Yes, he just played a fantastic game. And yes, Nashville, arguably through 9 periods, have probably won 8 of those. But the fact of the matter is I still see that I need to see some consistency out of Pekka Rinne. And I've said that I've been on the Penguins bandwagon, Ian, for 3.5 months now. I mean, of course, they've gone through some unforeseen injuries, but I still think if you look at their depth, which is how you win in the playoffs, you still have that first line with Crosby. You still have that second line with Malkin. And not only with Malkin, but you also have it with Kessel, and you also have that third line with Gensel. And certainly we know that fourth line can produce as well, whether it's Bonino or Hagelin on that fourth line. So I'm not ready to say the Pittsburgh Penguins are done, because I still think that there's a lot of question marks for the Nashville Predators. But it is extremely important for Pittsburgh to be more effective and not just get pucks to the net. I mean, it's not even scoring on the power play, but they need to get pucks to the net for sure. There was times that the Penguins, even on the power play, didn't even control play. And that to me, if I'm Mike Sullivan, that's a worrisome factor. But they have to get Crosby involved, and they have to get Malkin involved, and they have to get pucks to the net on the special teams. And if they can do that, I think they will turn the tables and be in this game, despite the fact that Nashville or Smashville is going to be going crazy tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point. I mean, this is a game where, and you talk about Pittsburgh needing to get to the tougher areas of the ice, the harder areas of the ice, get toward that blue paint, make life uncomfortable again for Pekka Rinne. And the jury is still out on Pekka Rinne. He was fantastic in Game 3, but are we going to see that Pekka Rinne, or are we going to see Game 1 and Game 2 Pekka Rinne when 37 shots without one, and he finally sees one and it goes in the net and wins the game for Pittsburgh? Which Pekka Rinne is it going to be? I mean, that's been a concern all series for Nashville. Great first 3 rounds, not a good Game 1 or 2, much better Game 3. How will he play tonight? This this is a game that screams out for Pittsburgh for Chris Kunitz to make him an impact, I think, Dana. This is a guy that, if his best work sometimes comes when he's a little bit of a factor in front. You got to hear from guys like that tonight, make things a little bit more difficult here for Pekka Rinne in a game like this. Same with Hornquist, be a pest. That's your MO in the NHL. You get in front of in front of the goalie's face. You make life miserable for him. You cause him all kinds of grief. I didn't see any of that. None. Zero from this guy in Game 3. You got to show me that here tonight in Game 4 if I'm the Pittsburgh Penguins. You know what? From a betting perspective, Dana, this is a fascinating game for me. As much as I've liked Nashville in this series, and we'd like to give out some kind of recommendation here, at least I do on every show, but
sure,
I'm not in love with laying minus 140, minus 145 here with Nashville. I cashed the ticket with Nashville in Game 3. It was about minus 130, 35, a little bit cheaper. It's getting up there now for my taste. I think I'd still lean to the Nashville side. They've been tremendous on home ice, Bridgestone Arena, 8-1 in the postseason. This has been a dominant home ice for Nashville, and that crowd gives them the bolts, that jolt of energy every single game, it seems. I mean, they're loud. They're on their feet, it seems, for the whole game. I don't know if these people in Nashville know how to use their seats, Dana. It seems like they're standing up for the entire hockey game. I'm like, do you guys believe in sitting down and taking a breather here? Holy mackerel, you're up on your feet the whole game. But that's Nashville. I mean, they're into it. I mean, the chants after every goal they score, the goalie's name, "You suck," it's all your fault. I mean, they've gotten all kinds of publicity for all those crazy chants they do at their home games. Really incredible atmosphere. I'm impressed with how good a home ice atmosphere it's been in Nashville. But something about laying this kind of price against a team with the pedigree and experience of a Pittsburgh Penguins, as much as Nashville's carried the play to Pittsburgh in all 3 games in this series, it's a question of value for me, and I'm not sure if minus 145 is the value I'm looking for here to support Nashville. I would look at derivative markets, Dana, if you like Nashville, as I do here in this game. Maybe I look at a team total over. Maybe I go for a minus 0.5 in the first period, which is at a nice plus price in this game. I didn't work out Saturday night because Pittsburgh got that first goal, but that's something you could look at. Conversely, if you like Pittsburgh, you could look at that first period because remember, they came out good in Game 3 against Nashville, got that 1-0 lead into the intermission, and then it was after that Nashville really started to take over the hockey game en route to that 5-1 win. So, again, team totals, first periods, when you like a side but you don't love the money line price for the entire game, and I don't love that minus 140 price, look at the derivative markets. There are other ways to sort of back up your opinion with a wager than just look at the full game money line price.
Yeah, I understand. It's funny, Ian, that we look at Nashville and we love you guys up north love to use the terms the traditional hockey market, and I don't know when these teams get their cards when they're actually a traditional hockey market, but if anything, any team or any home base has earned that at this point, it certainly would be Nashville. I mean, that is a true. They love their hockey, and do I dare say that they have really put the Penguins home crowd to shame? Maybe it's a been there, done that thing for the Penguins, but if there's any team that's a non-traditional market that should get their card for being a traditional market, I think Nashville certainly has made the case. And look, as far as the betting is concerned, I understand where you are. I understand, $1.40 is kind of getting in that range. I'm in a different kind of boat because I like Pittsburgh to win the series, and I've been saying that for 3.5 months now. So where do I, if I like Nashville in the game, I really have to kind of pick and choose because the guys will jump out and say, "Oh, well, you said you like Pittsburgh." I do like Nashville in this game. And I understand trying to get value, but there's no value in a losing ticket. I do also see that, I do think that Nashville has a little bit of momentum, and this series might just turn into who's at home series, which would work out well for me as well. And tonight, I don't have any interest in playing Pittsburgh because I need to see them be better on the road than they were in Game 3. And if they're not better, and if they're not able to get the puck out of their own end, and if they're still reaching and if still opening lanes up through the neutral zone, then there's no way that I can play Pittsburgh even at a plus price at this point. I think they're a much better team when they're at home. even though that they've had success against Nashville, including success at Bridgestone, I think this is just another animal, and I think this is just another entity in itself. So if I was going to play this game and play the side, I don't have a problem laying $1.40. And of course, that's the luxury of going on SBR and checking out all the odds, because odds change obviously during the day. At Pinnacle, you can lay $1.34 right now, which is more kind of in my wheelhouse. I do like the under in this game, so Pinnacle is also offering minus $1.30. So it looks like that Penny's offering lines that are a little bit more acceptable for both of us. But certainly I'm looking at Nashville in under tonight until the Penguins can show me that they are worthy of my financial backing.
Yeah, I mean, right now we've got the home team having won every single game in this series. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, it's you don't obviously expect Crosby and Malkin to go shotless like they did in Game 3, obviously. Right. That can't happen again, can it? But give Nashville credit for that. You would expect them to play a whole lot better. Hey, PK Subban guaranteed a win in Game 3. It worked for Nashville. Props to him for doing that. Pittsburgh will be better. But I still think Nashville's got a puncher's chance in this series. I mean, with a modicum of better goaltending in Game 1 or 2 of this series, it could be a different situation right now, as opposed to Pittsburgh leading this series 2-1 right now. So, I'm trying to think. Yeah, go ahead, Dana. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, excellent. Yeah, I was just going to say, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I was just going to say, Ian, that certainly they have more than a puncher's chance. I mean, honestly, there's a reason why Nashville and PK Subban is going out and guaranteeing victories, because through 9 periods, they won 8 of them. They have to feel great about where they are. They're clearly the faster of the two teams. I think they used the term puck luck quite a bit, and Pittsburgh certainly got their share. Nashville got a little bit last game. But I think when you're putting the label of puck luck on one particular team, the other team's got to feel good that if they just play their game, knowing they're going to go back home in an arena that they're 8-1, certainly you still have to feel good about where you're at. And I think that's why Nashville has more than a puncher's chance. But again, listen, you had figured out something if Crosby and Malkin are not getting any shots. And I still go back to the non-concussion where Crosby hit his head on the bottom of the boards the series back, and to me has not been the same since. The faster of the two teams is certainly Nashville. The grittier of the two teams is Nashville. I think that Pittsburgh is playing on fumes and they're playing on experience right now, and I don't know if those traits are going to be enough to outlast Nashville in a long series.
Yeah, and if you believe in Nashville, the series price is an option, plus price still sitting out there. I mean, it's something you can look at if you really think, hey, Nashville's been the better team for the majority of the periods in this series. They have got Pittsburgh, thinking to themselves a little bit. And Nashville, if you believe in them winning this series, that's certainly an option for you. There's no question about that. And when I look at this game tonight, and I mentioned it before, I'm looking at those 3 defensemen, Dumoulin, Cole, and Hainsey, Dana. These are the vulnerable D-men on this Pittsburgh team. Vulnerable. You hit them. You put them right through the glass every opportunity. You make life miserable for them. You be physical on them because they are a turnover machine, all 3 of these guys. If you are physical with them, if you pressure them, if you give them little time and space to come out of their zone with the puck, these are the guys making the mistakes. These are the guys getting hemmed in for Pittsburgh in their own zone, and why they're having such a difficult time in this series, and even in the Ottawa series a little bit, of coming out with the puck out of their own zone. Just keep being physical and pounding those 3 defensemen in particular, because if you do that, they're vulnerable to some blunders, turnovers, careless passes through the middle of the ice. They've all been guilty of it. I'd keep doing it if I'm Nashville.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, you have to give Laviolette a lot of credit because, he put Zolnarchuk back in the lineup and put Pierre Parenteau in the lineup, which obviously is going to give you some speed. And I think his overall theory is now that we are going to just kill Pittsburgh with speed because we don't think that they are going to be able to hang with us. And I said, the pickup of Ron Hainsey at the deadline, I thought was a huge pickup for them. But now that you're playing teams that are fast and you need some guys that are a little bit better on their skates, I think that there is a complete liability right now, considering, him and Dumoulin are your top defensive pairing. I mean, if you would have told me that is going to be your top defensive pairing right now, or going into the playoffs, I would have said, boy, you really are going to have some issues. And this really talks to how good they are up front, because those guys that we mentioned before, even with Rust and Gensel played with Crosby last game on the first line. I mean, they are so good and so effective offensively that it reminds me of Dallas last year, where Dallas was able to outshoot their back end issues. And I think that Pittsburgh's kind of trying to do the same as well. But would I ever count Pittsburgh out? You can never count Pittsburgh out, because they arguably have two of the maybe 5 to 7 best players in the world. And Jake Gensel is one of those guys that is joining the party. And, if Phil Kessel ever shows up, they're not going to have any problem scoring goals. But I agree with you, Ian. I mean, it's not only difficult getting the pucks out of the net, but I don't see them winning the battles in the corners. I don't see Hainsey and Dumoulin winning those tough battles. And when you don't win those tough battles, that usually means that the other team has got a lot of offensive chances, because they keep the puck in your offensive zone.
Yeah, the one-on-one puck battles is a great point. Nashville's won so many of them. Pittsburgh has lost so many of them. You just got to get a little bit more, get more of a grinder's attitude, I guess, if you're Pittsburgh, especially some of their top guys. You got to battle for loose pucks. You got to have body position. You got to have stick position. And the power play, you mentioned it. I mean, Mike Sullivan's got to be pulling his hair out for the amount of firepower the Pittsburgh Penguins can put on an ice surface for their power play unit. To see them sputter, to even barely get a sniff of the offensive zone during some of these power plays, it's really unacceptable. Really, it's a disgrace considering the guys they can put out there on the power play. Pittsburgh's going to have to be better. No question about that. Starting tonight with the man advantage. We got to wrap this show up, Dana, so we'll go right to best bets to wrap it up. I know you like Nashville. I'm going to give out Nashville, but I'm going to go for a little bit more bang for my buck. I'm going to go on the regulation line, Dana, and say that the Nashville Predators can get this done in 3 periods and avoid overtime. You can get Nashville regulation minus 0.5 plus 128 at Pinnacle. I like that. I like that price. That's my kind of price right there. Nashville Predators minus 0.5 plus 128 in regulation to win this game within 60 minutes. I think they can do that tonight. I think they've got momentum on their side. And, hey, you've got that 8-1 home record in the playoffs for Nashville. I think they get it done. And, Dana, best bet to make it official from you, what do you like?
Well, I'm just going to go Nashville and under tonight. Certainly, Pittsburgh has to get more than 4 shots in 21 minutes of power play time. And if they were able to do that, I think that they're going to be more effective. But I'm a guy that needs to see these things happen before I cross my fingers that they're going to happen.
All right. Excellent. Dana, Lane, fantastic. I mean, this has been too long. I can't believe we've known each other for years. We're finally doing a live hockey show. We're going to have to do this more in the future. Thanks to Dana Lane for filling in for Andrew McInnes today on the Ice Guys. We'll be back next Monday with our final Ice Guys NHL Stanley Cup Finals or playoffs betting show of the year to recap the finals, or we might be previewing a Game 7 if there is one next Monday at this time. So we'll see where things stand, but we'll be back either way next Monday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific with another Ice Guys show. Until then, enjoy the Stanley Cup Finals and good luck.